Hello everyone! Welcome to Junetober 2025. We are so thrilled that you're here joining us this year for the second annual Junetober event. This is where we celebrate everything spooky in June, and this event is hosted by the Paper Bee Creative and myself, Elizabeth, at Petals and Parchment. So welcome, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited for this event and there's so much fun in store. So are you ready? Let's get started. Now before we go any further, the most exciting part about Junetober is all of the incredible artists that we have collaborating with us for this event. Take a look at these amazing paper crafters in our lineup this month. Can you believe it? Look at these names. Are you as starstruck as I am? Well, every single day in June, go to the Paper Bee Creative and get a copy of a freebie from one of these inspiring artists and use that to create fabulous artwork and then post it in the groups for your chance at winning incredible prizes. Does it get any more fun than that? I don't think so. And we know that not everyone's cup of tea is spooky and scary, so we've also got a cozy option this year. So be sure to check out full details in the groups, join in the fun, and are you ready to kick off Junetober 2025? Hooray! I'm so excited, I can hardly stand it. This year for Junetober, we have an all-new YouTube Hop. What is that, you ask? The YouTube Hop is a scavenger hunt, and it's called The Witch's Spell. And you're going to follow along using the link tree provided down in the description below. And each day you follow the link tree to the creator who is set up for that day. And today is day 1, so I'm so glad that you found us. And in the freebies that you'll find on the Paper Bee Ko-fi and on my Ko-fi shop, you'll find the game board and a bunch of extras so you can print your game board out, and then you'll get all of these tokens. And each day you follow the hop, the creator who's showing you how to use their papers will give you a token, and then you just place it on the corresponding day and turn in your completed game board for some fabulous prizes. So to get ready, you'll just download the freebie from one of our Ko-fi shops, and then you'll double side print the game board. And I've used some fancy edge scissors to give it a little bit of a rough edge just for some decoration. And then you're going to get a little envelope that you can keep all of your goodies in, and you can double print that so the inside is decorated as well if you'd like, as I've done here. When you cut out your envelope, it will look like this, and then you're just going to fold in the edges and put glue down the sides here. And you've got a handy little place to store all of your game tokens for the month of June while you wait to see each video. And we'll just keep all of our pieces in here until we need them. So what's going to happen is you're going to go and watch each video in the hop, and you're going to subscribe to the creator, like their video, and leave a comment, and then you'll put the token that they give you in the corresponding spot for their day. The tokens are a mystery and they've been randomized, so you have to watch each creator every day to figure out what the piece will be. Then when you have all of your tokens glued to the game board, you'll take a picture of it and you'll email it to me at petalsandparchment@outlook.com, or you can send it to me through messages on Ko-fi or through Facebook Messenger, whichever way is easier for you. So we'll set this aside and we'll get started on my project for today. The freebie that I'm offering is a full kit, and the theme I've chosen is Sleepy Hollow, and I'm so excited about this kit. I think it turned out really amazing. So I'm going to show you a flip through of the kit. Take a look and let me know what you think in the comments. What do you guys think of that kit? Isn't it pretty awesome? I just love the way that it turned out, and I hope you enjoy creating with it. Where can you get this kit? Join the Paper Bee Creative Facebook group, and every single day in June you're gonna get another freebie from an amazing creator. So make sure that you grab all the freebies, and every single day the people that created the kit or one of our design team members will be bringing you ideas and inspiration on how to use these papers. First up today, I'm gonna show you how to use some of the Sleepy Hollow papers to make a spooky journal that looks like it came straight from the story in Sleepy Hollow. This is what I'll be showing you how to make today. Come along for the journey and learn how to put this together yourself. These freebies are available in the Paper Bee Creative, and you can find all the details in the description below. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is make some handmade dyed papers, and I actually used to make soap. I still do occasionally, but it's all put away right now. But I have a lot of mica powders from my days of making soap, and I found this at the dollar store. They have like a whole resin section, so you could just pick up a few of these colors for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree if you're in America. And I've got some paints here. The colors in the kit are sort of dark and spooky, so I'm going to stick with grays and blacks with little pops of color. So I've got some paint here, and then I've got some sprays that I actually made for Junetober last year by just getting these bottles at the Dollar Tree and adding a little bit of paint to the bottle and then mixing with water, and then these spray really nicely. So I've got these little plastic cups that I can make circles with, and I've got some sea salt, some cracked sea salt that we're gonna play with. Little strainer that I got at the Dollar Tree, so I'm going to try to use this to distribute the mica powders evenly, because I've found when I just dump them out, they kind of clump in one spot. So these two tools that I've grabbed are my solution to try to spread them out a little bit. I've got a paintbrush, and I've also got some plastic wrap that we're going to play with. So when I'm normally printing, if there's a piece of paper that only prints on half a side, mostly for shipping labels, I save the other half, and these are actually going to be a pretty perfect size for the journal that I'm making. So just get some scrap papers or some plain printer paper, and let's get started. A few more things that I have are a spray bottle of water, and I also grabbed a few stencils too, so these will help create some really fun and interesting backgrounds. And I've got my glass mat here because I'm going to dump some of the mica powder on the glass and mix it with water, and then I'm going to paint it on for this first paper that we're doing. So I'm going to just pour a little bit of water here and mix it up to activate the pigment directly on my mat. Then I'm just going to paint it on, and I'm going to make some splashes and maybe drag it through the water. And I'm going to wet the paper, and I'm going to drop a little bit more mica directly on top of the paper. I'm going to try using my strainer here. This is how we do it with powdered sugar. When you're a chef and making French toast, you just knock the strainer against your palm here, and as you can see, it's dusting it everywhere pretty evenly. I'm quite pleased with that. And I'm just going to activate it some more and get it wet, and then I'm going to get rid of some of these clumps here by breaking them up and creating some interesting patterns. What do we say about some silver? And spray that again. And then this should be the fun part, adding some sea salt. And I'm going to let this dry, and we'll get started on our next paper. For this next decorative paper, I'm going to wet the paper first. Then I'm going to lay my stencil on top. And then once again, I'm going to take my mica powder inside my strainer and completely cover the surface wherever there is a stencil. Have that down, then you can also do a relief print by taking another piece of paper and going on the top. So you'll get two for the price of one here. And there must have been some residual color left on my stencil from the last time I used it, so that's kind of cool that I've ended up with some yellow spots here. I'm quite pleased with that, even though it was unintentional. I'll get this one cleaned up and set to the side to dry, and we'll make a couple more. Okay, moving along. Perhaps you don't have any mica powders. That's totally okay. You can also do the same type of decorative papers with acrylic paint or watercolor paint. You can stamp on your backgrounds. Really, the idea here is just to have fun. Here I'm just using a brayer to move the paint around my paper, like so, and full coverage is not necessary unless you'd like it to be. Then you can use this paper to roll off any excess paint that's on your brayer. As soon as this dries, which doesn't take very long, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now I've gotten the semi-dry brayered piece of paper, and I'm going to take metallic black, almost like a silver kind of looking color, and I'm just going to spread that around using my paintbrush. And get some on this plastic wrap here. Then I'm going to lay the plastic wrap on top of the print here and just kind of squish it and mush it so that the plastic wrap has some crinkles and wrinkles in it, like so. And then I'm going to leave that to dry just like that. So this was metallic black paint on top of black paint, and then some texture from plastic wrap. So that looks pretty neat. So I've grabbed a few more supplies here. I've got black soot, weathered wood, picket fence, which is white, and lost shadow, which is like a gray silver color. And I've got some blending brushes and some inkers here. I went and grabbed a few like mixed media stamps, and I also grabbed a script stamp. I grabbed my coffee dye solution to age the papers that have white around the edges. So the first thing I'm going to do to this paper is add some picket fence, which is a white that should show up pretty nicely through the stencil that I'm going to use. And sometimes I get impatient wondering if my design is showing up, so I try to hold the stencil in place and peek under to see if I'm getting the effect that I'm after, and it doesn't look like I am, so I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive filling up my brush and see if that helps. If not, I might switch to a different color. Okay, and then now I'm just going to make some mixed media type patterns on the background here just to add some extra interest. I'm using archival ink, but you can use whatever you want. I usually change directions to make it look like not all the same marks and go off the side a little bit. Then I'm going to switch to this other stamp. No rhyme or reason, just having fun, making marks. Okay, and this is what it looks like now, which is pretty fabulous. Here's the one with the salt, and I'm going to use some numbers that I got from a craft garage sale. That's my favorite place to be, a craft garage sale. If you see anybody that's offloading all of their craft supplies on Facebook Marketplace, try to make an appointment and go check it out. You can find some real treasures that way. I think using these little dots is just a subtle enough textural difference that it adds a lot. It is kind of mucking up my ink though. There we go. Brush that off. Perfect. Okay, so there's one. So what I'm going to do with this different stencil is just take a little bit of texture paste on my glass mat here and add a little bit of this purple mica powder. And then I'm just going to mix that up right on the glass mat to get a purple color. And I'm going to paint it through the stencil here. And you've got an interesting pattern on this paper. I think we still need some more splashes though. How about some gold? This is Shimmer Paint Spray by Craftsmart. I think I got this at Michael's. Really good deal, and it comes in super handy. And I find it gives me the desired result if I open it and shake it like this versus spraying it through the nozzle. I'm going to dry these papers and clean up my mess and meet you right back here. Okay, here's your token for day 1 of Junetober 2025, the Witch's Lair. So cut this token out, and you're going to glue it in spot number 1 here on your board. And then tune in tomorrow to Emily Designs and see what day 2's token will be. Okay, so once you have all of your papers dyed, you're going to want to fold all of your papers, and in the kit there is a notebook, an actual antique notebook cover. So you're just going to want to make sure to measure your paper to fit the antique cover, and I did that by printing everything in 8x10, and then also there was a box that I unchecked which said fit to screen. So I went from printing a whole page to an 8x10, and then I unchecked the box that said fit to screen, and that's how I got this size. But if you just have any type of papers that you want, you can just line them up and cut them to fit. And in the center is my favorite, which is the bridge from Sleepy Hollow. So you're just going to line up all of your papers like this and line it up in the center of our journal cover. I figured there's enough videos that can show you how to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but maybe no one showed you this little trick yet. So if you don't feel like going to the trouble of sewing your signature in, you can just staple it by putting it on a piece of foam. I got this one with a phone a long time ago, and I just keep it, and it's lasted me forever. And then I'm just gonna open up my handy swing line stapler, and I'm just going to staple twice. I know what you're thinking, I'm doing it backwards, but I'm actually going to cover up the pokey bits with some black lace. So you just staple through the center, and then you flip it over. I'm using the squeezy end of my tweezers here because I always poke myself, so don't poke yourself. You can use as many as you like. All right, and bend that into place. I'm going to cover the staples with some black washi tape. Alright, so that's what we have so far. Feel free to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you give yourself a small spine right here, you could also use 2 grommets and then just put some elastic through there, and then you can have a removable signature. So this is what we have so far. And then we're going to take this pocket, and I've already cut a notch out here. I'm just going to ink around the edges before I glue that down. This is an actual antique notebook from the 1800s. I can't remember the exact date, but it is old, and I thought that would be perfect for the Sleepy Hollow journal. It looks like something Ichabod would carry around on his way to teach because he's head schoolmaster, if you remember the story. All right, and then this piece here is like a closure, and so you just want to fold the edge down here. And then what we're going to do is glue this to the edge here, and then we're going to cover it with the pocket. So first things first, ink if you want to do that, and then take your flap and glue it down to the inside cover like so. Make sure before your glue dries that it's lined up with the edge properly. And then push down to make sure that glue adheres. And then we're just going to keep our hand here so we know not to put any glue on this side, and glue around 3 sides here to form the pocket. I'm just using art glitter glue. You can use whatever glue you'd like. So then just get that where you like it, and now you have a built-in pocket. I've given you a full-size sheet of the journal cover pattern, so if you wanted to, you could add on multiple panels and make this a lap book or a flippy floppy thing. You could add another pocket to the front if you'd like. So there are a lot of opportunities for personalization. And then this is a little tab that comes with the journal cover. You just cut that out and ink around it and then you find where it's going to close, and this is going to be our closure. So we're just going to put a tiny dot of glue on either side here. So I'm just going to hold it in place, put a dot of glue, and put it down, hopefully not catching my closure in the process. And go ahead and pull this out and allow that a few moments to dry. But this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to go around the edge here with some black ink. Okay, and this is the last step before we begin to fill the journal with goodies. So I've got all of my like black laces and scraps right here. I took this white cheesecloth and I sprayed black paint water on it last Junetober actually, and I still have it, so I might consider this for the spine. I also have this beautiful piece. Oh, I think that might be the winner. Cut off a section here, trim off a little at the top here, and then the same thing here with the lace, and put these away. These are so handy, these to-go containers for scraps. I like to color code mine, and so it makes it easy to grab the color that you're looking for. And my favorite tip I've ever received: when you're using Fabri-Tac, hang it upside down until the glue goes all the way to the tip of the nozzle, and then and only then begin squeezing, and it won't erupt on you like a volcano. And get my lace down. Okay, so then I'm just going to wrap this around the back here, and I'm going to prop this open just a little bit and allow it to dry standing up like so. And then when it's dried, I'll come back in, touch up the glue where I think it needs it, trim off this little excess here at the bottom, and we'll be good to go. And here it is, my Sleepy Hollow junk journal, complete with painty papers, ready to be filled up with all sorts of goodies and to personalize for the event. We are so thrilled that you're joining us for Junetober 2025. Thank you so much for being here and for taking part in the hop. Remember, the witch's lair is your token for today. I hope this has inspired you to make something crafty, and I hope you enjoyed Junetober. We've put a lot of love and heart into this event, and we hope it shows. I hope you love this Sleepy Hollow kit, only available for free through Junetober 2025 in the Paper Bee Facebook group. Join us both on Facebook and get yourself a copy of these freebies. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Have an incredible Junetober, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. I can't wait to see what you make. Don't forget to post your projects in the Facebook groups, and have fun. Most importantly, have fun. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Happy Junetober!